I've been late,
Yeah.
and
That's
it's
a
on
lie.
public record. Isn't that great?
Okay, welcome to our city council meeting tonight. It's June 21st. It's 7:04 and a half,
Summer solstice.
but we're on time. Glad to have you here. Welcome all those on YouTube. Glad to have you. If you have any comments, send them in.
I don't know.
And we will disperse with the roll call. Everybody's present. So I would like to ask if someone would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yep, I will. Please stand. Please repeat the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Would also like to ask if anyone would like to offer an invocation or give us a inspirational thought.
Mayor, I'll give an invocation if that's okay.
Okay.
Our Father in heaven, we come before thee at this time and thank thee for the opportunity we have to meet and discuss the needs and concerns of Santaquin City, and we ask thy Spirit to be with us and help us to affect the business of the city and have thy guidance and protection over us as we do so. Bless our families as we're away, that they may be watched over and protected and kept safe, and help us to return home safely at the appropriate time. Thank thee for the many blessings that thou bestows upon us and for all that we are blessed with. And we say this in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, both of you. I'm not sure if we have any, but do we have any potential conflicts of interest that we need to bring up to start the meeting? Good. Then we'll get right into the consent agenda. All of the city expenditures were published and put online. You should have had a chance to look at them, go over any issues. And let me just ask first, are there any items that you need clarification on, or are we good to go with the bills? There's $2,083,794.14. The 14 cents I can probably cover. Or at least that's how I feel, but. Any questions? Good. And the items is a possible action with the ability to allow Jason Bond the ability to go for the ICMA training in Ohio. This is the only place that this particular training will be held this year. It's a yearly training. They do it at different states or different cities throughout the United States. So this time it's in Columbus. So, strangest place I've ever landed in an airplane. The airport is in the middle of town. It's really something. So, anyway, any questions on either of those?
Just when is it?
Middle of September.
Yeah. So I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agendas.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or anything else you need to ask, answer, or talk about? Then we'll go to the roll call. Councilman Hathaway.
Aye.
I have to be real careful, don't I? Councilman Meekum.
Aye.
Councilman Sidaway.
Aye.
Councilman Adcock.
Aye.
Councilman Member Montoya.
Aye.
That passes. Let's move on and we'll go into the recognitions with Chamber of Commerce. So, Stephanie, we're glad to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Make sure you say your full name so it's on record.
I'm Stephanie Taylor, here representing the Chamber of Commerce, Payson Santaquin Chamber of Commerce. I'm the president, and I'm excited to be able to recognize our May Business of the Month. The award goes to Lance Group Homes. Kat Santos is here representing. Do you want to come stand? Yeah. Come stand by me. I love Kat, and I really love Lance Group Homes. They have really beautified our community in multiple ways. So when we first moved here a few years ago, the building that they're now in, my kids thought it was amazing that there was a real haunted house in our community. But they've taken that, it's beautiful now, but I feel like the real contribution that they've made is they do a wonderful job serving in our community. They do lots of civic events. They hosted even a market the other night, and they're always welcoming other community events and partnering with the schools. I know they donate to schools, and they're just a really wonderful business and contribute a lot to our community. The actual award she received at the Payson City Council, but I did still want to recognize her, so yay for Lance Groupons.
Thank you. You know, one thing I want to tell you is you need to go take a tour of that home.
I know, I've been inside.
Oh, it's beautiful the way
It
they've
is so
restored it.
beautiful.
Yeah. Even the upstairs and the tub and everything.
I love working there.
Yeah.
Yes. Total history. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So, did you want to say anything? Or you don't have to, but.
Thank you.
We love the businesses that we have in town. We're trying to do everything we can to help everybody. Any issues that come up, please come talk to us, but thank you for being here. Thank you for representing Kylie and the rest of the group. We know that you do a good job, so we appreciate it very, very much.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Can we get a picture with you, Mayor?
Selfie. Yeah.
That's okay.
Right?
Where would you like me to go? Oh, there you are.
You gotta get in step.
It's fabulous.
They make me come stand up front, so I can't wear shorts.
I should start wearing my shorts.
Thank you. Jason, I don't have any building permit report.
Do we have a report on the building permit and business licenses?
We don't. We'll have to wait till next meeting
Okay,
to
that's
update you on
good.
that.
Are no new businesses that you have?
It's part of that report.
Okay,
I think with
and we'll
the-
do it next time.
I think with the holiday we had yesterday, it frankly slipped our mind.
Yeah, and so the next meeting that we'll have will be, next
July.
week.
We'll have it at the next
Yeah.
regular meeting.
Okay, then we can move right into the resolutions on the establishment of the fee schedule for Santaquin City.
Mayor, do you want to acknowledge that there wasn't anyone signed up for public forum?
I guess I should. Nobody had signed up for public forum, so there's no comments. Unless anybody that's here has a comment or would like to bring up something. Okay, we'll move right along. We're going to talk about a couple of resolutions. The first one is the establishment of the fee schedule in Santaquin City. And that sounds like something, we're just going to throw over the fence. But in actuality, posted it on our website are all of those fees. We've talked about them in some detail. And there's a lot of reasons why some of these need to be adjusted. And number one would be for COLA reasons. The cost of living has affected us maybe more this year than any other time. So just buying things in general are costing a lot more money than they did before. And that's how a lot of these fees are come about is we do maintenance and have to maintain many things within the city. We also have fees that are intermixed with this that have to do directly with replacement and working on things such as signs and pipes and everything else. So the one thing I thought that caught my mind was renting out some of the parks and things like that. But most of those costs were just associated with cost of living. Where you saw any increase that was significant above the cost of living type of raise had to do with items that are costing so much more to buy at this time. And I think you could look at a myriad of things to come up with those figures. But I think the fee schedule is comprehensive. We did in our work session talk about having that maybe reformatted a little, next year so that it might be a little easier to read or whatever. It's not important for right now. This is just our first glance at going through it. But Norm, did you want to go through any portion of it?
Yeah, so these, the fee schedule increases do include COLA, like you talked about, as well as everything from street signs to water meters to everything that has been changed in here has gone up due to just the inflationary cost that we're seeing on a daily basis with everything that we deal with. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about that. I do want to apologize. There was a duplicate in the middle of the budget. For some reason, that was something that Municode was doing and we couldn't figure it out. But the information is there, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have regarding the fee schedule.
We good? Then we need to possibly make this a resolution. So what I'd ask for is a motion for a resolution to establish the fee schedule for Santaquin City.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt resolution number 06-01-2022, a resolution establishing the fee schedule for Santaquin City.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So we'll have a roll call vote. Councilmember Montoya,
Aye.
Councilman Adcock,
Aye.
Councilman Sidaway,
Aye.
Councilman Meekum,
Aye.
Councilman Hathaway.
Aye.
One of these days, you guys are gonna have to say all this. And resolution for the establishing of the 2022-23 certified tax rate. And the explanation that I want to give very quickly is adjusting ourselves for the certified tax rate is what keeps our taxes level. It doesn't help us to grow, and one of these days it may catch up with us, but by using the state mandated or approved certified tax rate and adopting it allows us to move forward. That means if we got $200 last year, we'll get $200 this year. But one day it will catch up and we'll have to make an adjustment, but not right now. We're moving along. As you look at the budget, I think we're doing well. Are we perfect? We may not be in line with every other city around, but I think we're looking at this at the right time. And this needs to be a discussion too as we move forward. But I don't want to look at tax rates right now, other than this certified one. So do you have anything else, Norm?
No, I would just say that this comes down from the state through the county, and this is our certifying our tax rate for this year, which does allow us to, again, keep it level as it was last year. And it just moves because of the increase in value of homes and property, the mill levy rate has to go down in order to keep it even. So this is not a tax increase. This is not a tax decrease. This is just an even, but we have to certify this every year through as required by the state.
Yeah, and I think most people that look at the taxes when they come around, that's something that Santaquin is dealing with, that whole tax bill. And really, we only get a small percentage of that. And anybody that has a question on it really needs to dig in and see how small of a percentage we do get of those property taxes, especially in comparison with the school district. So
right, I would indicate that this is just establishing the tax rate for us as the city, which is about 13% plus or minus of your overall property tax bill. This is just a certification for the Santaquin City portion of it. We don't control the state or the school district or the county or anybody like that.
Yeah. So with that, do you have any questions? Is there any discussion you would like to have? Anything you'd like to bring up? So we may be good to move on this one too. I'd like to ask for a motion to establish the fiscal year 2022-23 certified tax rate.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we adopt resolution 0602-2022, a resolution establishing the fiscal year 2022-2023 certified tax rate.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Dave, second. Roll call vote. Councilman Hathaway,
Aye.
Councilman Meekum,
Aye.
Councilman Sidaway,
Aye.
Councilman Adcock,
Aye.
Councilmember Montoya.
Aye.
Thank you. Next one is the adoption of the fiscal year budget 22-23. This was an easy item. It was only a 2-page bulletin, hierarchy we looked through, went through very fast. It was just a couple of numbers you had to look at. Or it was about 239 pages that I read today or over the last few. So first off, we have Ben Reeves that's with us tonight to go over this, and you'll be here next week when we go through it again.
I will, not when we go over again, but when we have the year end for fiscal year 21-22 on June 30th.
Yeah, the final that we have to, by
For this
state
current-
law, we have to do. Yeah. So, Ben, I am not going to jump into the middle of this. I would like you to just jump right out and start talking.
Great. So this is the annual budget process that we've gone through, and to answer a few questions that came up earlier in the meeting, Santaquin City's portion of the property tax rate is 11.3% of the overall tax bill. The certified tax rate is not necessarily state mandated, but it is county calculated. What's mandated is that you do have to certify the tax rate, or else you don't get any property taxes. It is absolutely correct that the same amount of property taxes come through from year to year. The only difference being the new home construction, so the new tax applied to that for the year. And the reason that the consolidated fee schedule is in the budget twice is not a Unicode issue, but rather it is an appendice to the budget, and therefore it is a component of a budget approval. So all of those things are quickly answered and whatnot. The budget process began in January of this year. Actually, it began a few months before that with the department directors putting forth all of their different requests based on the added workload that the city is encountering because of the growth. Everything from personnel to new equipment to projects that need to be taken on are all part of that budgetary process. That initial pre-budget planning session with the department directors then leads us to preparing the presentations that would be made to our city council. With our city council coming in, especially with three new elected leaders, it was a great opportunity for the department directors to build relationships with the elected leaders and to talk about the needs of the city, and so that operations can continue. During that budget planning session in late January, early February, the council prioritized those projects and those requests that came in from department directors and made the adjustments as necessary. From that period of time going forward, there's been a lot of work on the spreadsheet to get it into place, and I just want to extend a great appreciation to Shannon and to all of the department directors. Shannon really led the effort this year to have the department directors take a greater role in each of the developments of their budgets so that they have true ownership and they do a better job at coding their expenditures throughout the year. And so you may see small fluctuations from year to year this year as department directors are making alterations and changes to the line items for which they are coding some of their expenditures, and not necessarily an increase to the overall line, to the overall bottom line for a given department. It's just greater accountability because there's greater ownership being shifted down to the department director level, which is appropriate for a community that's growing as fast as Santaquin City. All of this culminated into the state mandated, and that's a good word for this one, adoption of the tentative budget, which was done in the first meeting of May. That tentative budget makes the budget a public document in which the public can then review it, and it's been on our website ever since May 30th. Or excuse me, the first meeting in May 3rd, I think it was. And then comments could be made all the way through. A public hearing was held during the first meeting of June, and any kind of comments that came in from either department directors, from the elected leaders themselves, or from the public have been incorporated into the document that you see before you. And we've taken over the last 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, and put it all into what's called a narrative form. So although the narrative form is not required by state law, it is a benefit to the public because it helps to give context and direction as to why budget allocations are made the way they are. Truly, your value system as an elected leader and you representing your constituents is demonstrated in how you allocate your funding through the year so that those projects and priorities that you care about are funded and move forward. The budget is basically a 96-page document with several appendices. One of those appendices being the overall line-by-line budget, and as well as the consolidated fee schedule, the debt amortization tables, and also our accomplishments for the year, which are still being compiled. So that will be added to this and uploaded at a later date. This has been in the packet for the council's reading and edification, as well as for the public. And hopefully any questions regarding why things have changed or how investments are being made on behalf of the city's resources and being good stewards of the taxpayers' resources have been answered in this document. With that, I turn it over to the council to ask any questions that you have on any particular items.
Thanks, Ben. I know that you've done a lot of work on this, and as I go down through the numbers, it's great to see the shape of the city, the ability of the city to grow and negotiate through all the problems that have occurred because of COVID. And most of those problems really at our level are the costs of things, how they've changed, right down to personnel. Our wages that we pay have taken a different look over the last year than what we've had to deal with in many years past. So certainly that word COLA, or the cost of living allowances, certainly have come into play with almost every aspect of this budget, and to pull it off and get it into a position that I've been able to sort through as I've gone through it have really been tremendous. So I thank you for the work that you've done. It looks to me like we have work to do, but are there any questions or any comments? Did you find anything as a council you'd like to talk about?
Well, just going through it, I saw a few lines I'd want some clarification on.
Sure.
Just because they're large increases from the year before, I just want to make sure and have it on record so that everyone else in the city can see it, where those increases are justified. In the expenditures, I think it's on the packet, page 126. I don't know if, I guess page A2 total on the budget. Under legislative, the education, training, and travel went from 3,000 last year to 13,000 this coming year. That just seems like a really large increase. I'm just wondering why so much.
Okay, so the answer, and thank you for asking questions one at a time, and I can answer each line item. To answer your specific question, Councilman Sidaway, yes, the budget was $3,000 last year. The actuals, though, that were spent in 2021 was $81.55, and last year, or this year through March 31st, was $51.66. Yep. That number is really comprised by the number of conferences that the council attends, and the fact that we do have 3 new council members and a greater need for training and participation in conferences than ever before. And so that ebbs and flows based on the maturity level and the term of the council, as well as the conferences you want to attend. So what's included in that is the attendance at the Utah League of Cities and Towns conference, both in the spring and the fall. The spring is down in St. George, but and the fall is up in Salt Lake. So the costs are a little bit different, but anticipating that all of the council participate in both so that we can fully fund that doesn't mean you need to spend it. It doesn't mean everybody needs to go. is $8,000.
Okay.
There's also an increase in the rural water, so that we have greater representation at rural water training. That's $2,000, and then just some miscellaneous travel and training for various events or travel that the council may have representing the city at different boards.
Okay.
There was one thing I wanted to note, and that is we've made some changes since the 1st of January with having a few people leave, and because of those, we've been able to stay within our budget all the way through, which allowed us a little bit of latitude as we move forward. We still need to bring on an engineering employee. We're still looking for a planner level 2 or level 3, and those are included in the budget, and I think they roll in. We may be saying, well, we're saving a little bit of money, but I think over the next few weeks, hopefully, maybe a month or two, we'll have those places filled. Do you see anything different from that?
No, sir. I think you're accurate on that.
Okay. And over the next year, too, we need to look at the changes that we have made and how we feel, and if there is any infill that we need in any of the places, because we've rolled the city back a little bit with one less staff member and a couple of other things, and with added responsibilities, and I think that goes on to your question too. With new people that have taken on responsibilities, we're doing more training with some of them. So I believe we're set for those additions that we need to make, and I believe the numbers seem to verify everything. I didn't have anything glaring as I went through it. Did anybody?
I did have one more. Under
Sure.
administration, the legal, it jumped from 95,000 to 350,000. I'm just wondering what we're expecting, the additional 255,000 cost.
That's an excellent question as well. And I'm going to answer two questions, that one and one other that came up a little earlier. With the court, one of the requests of our justice court judge is to try to have our accounting be more reflective of the actual costs of the court versus the cost of the city to prosecute cases through the court, which are two different things. Because if you have a court, those are the operational costs of that court itself. Irrespective of that, we still have to prosecute. So if Santaquin City never did have a court and we needed to go to, say, Utah County or District Court, we would still be paying prosecutorial fees. As such, at the request of our justice court judge, we have removed the cost of legal fees out of the court budget. So you'll see a corresponding reduction of legal fees out of the court line items, and that
280, I see that. Okay.
Correct, and an increase into the line items for the.
So it was just moving funds from one section to another.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and that came about because of the change that we wanted to make, was it not, Ben, where we wanted to bring that in-house rather than go out? I think.
No, it's just a movement of those. We've been paying those funds away. It's putting it out of the administration department instead of out of the court department. But to answer your question earlier, Mayor, about cost of living is tied to the U.S. Department of Commerce CPIU table, and it's based on the January to December 2021 cost of living increase, which gets implemented in July into the utility rates, and is also a contributing factor into the cost changes for salaries. So that came up much earlier in the discussion, but I wanted to make sure that you, as well as the council and the public, all realize that it's not just an arbitrary cost of living number. Those are actual numbers that come from the U.S. Department of Commerce.
Given that those are calculated in 2021, ending at the end of the calendar year, how far off are we in this year moving forward? Because COLA still is affecting us, even though we're not adopting any other number.
I would say that the answer to that question is significant. right now, the cost of living for 2021, now these numbers always come out a little bit late. So if you took the whole year from the beginning January to December, it was 4.7%. But in the time period from that's inclusive of the first 5 months of the year, it has jumped significantly. And that would not take effect until you see the whole year for 2022 and wouldn't hit until July of 2023. Pursuant to the policies that have been in place with Santaquin City for at least 12, 13 years, 14 years since Councilman Limford was instrumental in ensuring that cost of living increases came on a regular basis in small increments rather than a large increase all at once.
I think those will be discussions we'll be having as we go on. Any adjustments that need to be made with the budget in future months, we'll have to take those things into consideration as well. They're already affecting us with materials, so it will affect us in other ways as well. Yep. Anything else?
Correct.
Can we move right along and adopt this budget?
We can, if there's no more
If
questions
there-
or concerns.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, is there anything else that you need to bring up, Shannon? Are there any comments that you want to make?
No, I was just gonna be prepared to answer some of those questions with moving funds. There were several of
Yep.
those we took out of, a little bit out of legislative, put into administrative for like, employee recognition and stuff like that, just so we have a better tracking of it all in one place, so.
Yeah.
I will say that I met with Ben and Shannon several weeks ago and had a list of 24, 25 items
Yeah,
that
a
we
lot of
dis-
them were these.
that we discussed, yes, and that they were all answered satisfactorily. And then when I reviewed a draft of this, I had a few more questions, and those have been answered as well.
With that, then, I would like to move forward and ask for a motion to adopt the final fiscal year 22-23 budget.
So moved.
I've had a motion by Councilmember Montoya. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Hathaway. Is a roll call vote. Councilman Hathaway,
Aye.
Councilman Meekum,
Aye.
Councilman Sitaway,
Aye.
Councilman Adcock.
Aye.
Councilmember Montoya.
Aye.
So the budget passes. We'll have till the 30th to review or make any slight changes that we need to do to move forward. And I want to thank you, Ben, while you're on Zoom with us, for all the hard work, and Shannon for jumping in and becoming a part of it. This has been a big task to undertake, and it has been just perfect to this point. We do have a couple of other things, and Ben is still going to join us as we move down through these. And so, we're going to go about this in a little different way. We have to talk about the Community Development Renewal Agency, the Local Building Authority, and the Santaquin Special Services District. And I am not going to go through what we went through last time. So I'm going to read this, and we're going to follow it to make this go through quicker. Is that okay? Do I have to have a vote on that one? Because you won't get it. Okay. Number one, we're going to convene the Community Development and Renewal Agency for Santaquin City. We need to have need to convene the Community Development and Renewal Agency of Santaquin City. I'd entertain a motion to convene that meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Meekum. And a second.
I'll second.
By Councilman Hathaway. Roll call. Councilmember Montoya.
Aye.
Councilman Adcock.
Aye.
Councilman Hathaway.
Aye.
Councilman Meekum.
Aye.
Councilman Sitaway.
Aye.
This meeting opens at 7:37. That sounds like music. coming out of the sky. We have a need to hold a public hearing for the budget of the Community Development and Renewal Agency of Santaquin City. I'd entertain a motion to enter a public hearing.
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Sitaway.
Member.
Oh, board member Sitaway. Yeah. I should have read it right off of here. Okay. To enter into the public hearing of the Community Development and Renewal Agency for Santaquin City. Motion seconded by board member
Second.
Meekum. Roll call. Councilman Adcock.
Board member.
Board member.
Oh, it does, sorry. I can't even read it. Board member Adcock.
Aye.
Board member Hathaway.
Aye.
Board member Meekum.
Aye.
Board member Montoya.
Aye.
Board member Sitaway.
Aye.
7:38. Comments from the public. Does anyone want to comment on this? Good. The Community Development and Renewal Agency is the ability of Santaquin to utilize avenues that we can help get tax funds to help us build infrastructure or other things, as well as work within our own Santaquin City properties. So in order for us to do this, in any instance, we have to go into this Community Development and Renewal Agency for Santaquin City and then act as a chairman and board members. So that's why we are here. Given there's no comments from the public, then I want to close the public hearing. Entertain a motion to close this public hearing.
So moved.
Motion made by council or board member Montoya, seconded by
Aye.
board member Hathaway. Roll call vote. And we're just going to go through this. Board member Adcock.
Aye.
Board member Hathaway.
Aye.
Board member Meekum.
Aye.
Board member Montoya.
Aye.
Board member Sitaway.
Aye.
Closes at 7:40. We need to approve the budget for the Community Development and Renewal Agency of Santaquin City. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the budget. Do you have a PDF or something of that they can just look at, or if they have any
Sure.
question, so we can
This-
go over it? Thank
Yep,
you.
This one's pretty simple. Let me make sure I got the right one. Yep, this is the CDRA. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm sure Ben's happy to answer any questions as well, but it's just a one-page budget. And this, to Councilmember Meekum's question earlier,
Board
this is
member.
where, I'm sorry, formerly known
I
as.
don't want to mess up the record, but boy, I want to keep it straight.
In the other meeting, Councilmember Meekum talked about where we would get some funding to cover the MAG additional services. This could be one of those places.
Awesome.
And it works very well. So I would entertain a motion to approve the budget unless there are any questions, and we'll ask again when we get done. So is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
So approved by board member Meekum. And do I have a second?
Second.
By board member Sitaway. Roll call vote. Board member Adcock.
Aye.
Board member Hathaway.
Aye.
Board member Meekum.
Aye.
Board member Montoya.
Aye.
Board member Sitaway.
Aye.
We need to approve a survey study area for the Community Development and Renewal Agency of Santaquin City. Now, do you want to pull that up so we can look at it? And basically, it is the area of our industrial zone that we want to encourage industrial uses and to move forward with the ability to utilize this agency. So this agency then has the right to work within the CDRA, the Community Development,
Renewal Agency.
Redevelopment.
Renewal Agency.
Okay,
So it would be the area within green here, the dashed line that has the green highlights around it. There are more than just the industrial area. The primary focus would be our industrial area out by our lagoons, but also opening it up to other areas that could potentially have some growth potential, and also, again, everything from options of tax increment financing to other options to be able to help us spur economic development within the city.
yeah.
That good?
So are there any questions to that? I know we have talked about it a little bit individually. We have gone over this. Are there any questions that you want to have? In order to move forward to have this site survey done, it has to be done so that we can even begin the process.
This is the beginning of the process, that's correct.
So even though the property just to the west of Santaquin Elementary School is not zoned industrial because it isn't.
Right.
And Santaquin City doesn't own it yet or may never. It's school district property.
That's correct.
And so will we need, what is the process for getting school district permission to include that in this survey area?
So we don't need their permission to do it in this survey area. This is nothing more than just saying we're going to survey this area to see what those options are, economic development, cost of utilities, that kind of thing. From this point, we would then go to what's called a project area, which can then be drilled down either into the school district property or just our properties out west, that will then start being more where we would need property owner input, that type of thing. This is nothing more than just saying, okay, we're going to start this process. The school district actually understands. We met with the school district and they know that we're exploring these opportunities.
Okay.
And so this is, again, just the very first initial step where it just starts the process and gets us to where we can start moving down that road. As we start to get more specific on our property or the school district, or even the properties along Lark Lane and between there and Highway 6, we would then start having those discussions with property owners to just see what's feasible and see what they might be interested in and that kind of thing as well.
Okay.
Depending on the type of industries or even the type of the development that may happen on any of the properties that are within there, we can be looking at, rather than come out of our own coffers, which, you know, we've already proven with budget tonight, we don't have really deep pockets, but to help develop an industrial situation for us, or even a commercial that they may be doing, we could look at tax increment financing or something else, which we have been investigating in conjunction with Zions Bank and the state and others. So I believe we're walking down the right road. We're trying to make sure that we can look at what our options are here and what we can do to help this city in the future.
Yeah, so to give you a broader perspective, the Community Development and Renewal Agency covers the entire city. The study area is then pared down to that, and then we can go to project areas, which are even pared down more, because we likely wouldn't take on I don't know, in this case, tens of millions of dollars worth of infrastructure. For instance, if we were trying to develop the whole thing, we would next probably focus on just our property, or even just a portion of our property out west by the lagoons, and then we can go from there. So again, it's kind of this stepwise function where this is where we're at, this is what we need to do to get that in place, to then start going towards a project area plan that can start looking at utilities and what we can do out there, possibility of tax increment financing, et cetera.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure that communication is ongoing with the school district, as it has been previously, that that we have not been made aware of them selling the property as of today's date.
Correct.
And when we say industrial, I don't think that any of us would intend what the public might normally think of as industrial next to an elementary school.
Right, that's why I clarified that.
That's a broad area,
Yeah.
yes.
This is not just an industrial area. Our area is zone industrial, our property that's owned by the
Right.
city. That's
But-
why I clarified earlier that this takes in
For
more than just
feasibility and-
industrial
Yeah,
purposes and industrial zones and those types of things. It just
Yeah.
takes in this area.
yeah.
And it's probably important to understand, this does not replace zoning or any of the zoning regulations that are on this property.
Yeah, that's a good point.
This is specifically for tailoring financial opportunities to make redevelopment of this particular area more feasible.
It's also consistent with past practices in that the McMullen Trailer Park to the south of Macy's and the McMullen area to the east of 198 are also inclusive in the Orchard Lane Community Development Survey area.
Even though nothing's been done with those, they're still in that area. We could then do a project area plan as we drill down and start looking at closer at areas.
Right.
I think it's good to note and just make one more statement. We really have made an effort to meet with the Nebo School District and sat down as recently as
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Great.
So we're trying to make sure we're on every part of it. Any other questions? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the West Side Survey Study Area for the CDA.
So moved.
Or is it CDRA?
You can go by both. The official name has the R in it. The CDA is just what we have
Okay.
on the front or the back end of the resolution numbers.
So, motion made by Board Member Adcock. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion or seconded by Board Member Sidaway. Board Member Adcock.
Aye.
Board Member Hathaway.
Aye.
Board Member Meekum.
Aye.
Board Member Montoya.
I
Board Member Sidaway.
Aye.
Yeah, we're only about a third of the way through these pages. We're ready to close the meeting of the Community Development and Renewal Agency of Santaquin City. I would entertain a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
Motion made by Board Member Meekum. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
By Board Member Hathaway. Roll call. Board Member Adcock.
Aye.
Board Member Hathaway.
Aye.
Board Member Meekum.
Aye.
Board Member Montoya.
I
Board Member Sidaway.
Aye.
7:40.
7:49.
Oh, 7:50 I'll go with. How's that? I was gonna start singing again. Second one, we need to convene to the local building authority of Santaquin City. We have a need to convene to this meeting to the local building authority of Santaquin City, and I would like to entertain a motion to convene that
So
meeting.
moved.
By Counselor Meekum. You got me in the middle of a thought. Do I have a second?
second.
By Council Member Montoya. Roll call. Council Member Adcock.
Aye.
Counselor Hathaway.
Aye.
Counselor Meekum.
Aye.
Counselor Montoya.
I
Counselor Sidaway.
Aye.
Meeting opened at 7:51. We're moving right along, aren't we? We have need to hold a public hearing for the budget of the local building authority of Santaquin City. I'd like to entertain a motion to move into the public hearing.
So moved.
Council, or by Board Member Montoya. Who made the second? Board Member Sidaway. Roll call vote. Board Member Adcock.
Aye.
Board Member Hathaway.
Aye.
Is anybody really bored yet?
Aye.
Board Member Meekum.
Aye.
Board Member Montoya. Board,
I
Board Member Sidaway.
Aye.
7:52.
Couldn't resist that one, Mayor.
Okay. Do you have,
So this is the public hearing. You're in the public
Yeah.
hearing now, so there's nothing to present there. Just open it up to the public, and if there's no comment, then we go to the next item, which is the budget.
yeah, okay. Well, any comments? Then we're gonna close it. The public hearing. Entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
so moved.
Board Member Montoya, second by
Second?
Board Member Meekum. Boy, there's a lot of voting. You know, the state made us do this. What kind of legal authority do you have with the state? Sheesh. Okay, Board Member Adcock.
Aye.
Board Member Hathaway.
Aye.
Board Member Meekum.
Aye.
Board Member Montoya.
Aye.
Board Member Sidaway.
Aye.
7:53. We need to approve the budget for the local building authority of Santaquin City. We'd like to review it, and it's been in the packet. Do you have any questions or concerns over what you had seen?
No.
Any quick discussion that you want to have, Norm? Everything's out there. It's been published. Any questions from anybody? Good. Then I would entertain a motion to approve the budget.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Board Member Adcock,
Aye.
Board Member Hathaway,
Aye.
Board Member Meekum,
Aye.
Board Member Montoya,
Aye.
Board Member Sidaway.
Aye.
Board, as we all are. We're ready to close the meeting of the local building authority of Santaquin City. I'd entertain a motion to close this meeting.
So moved.
Board Member Montoya, do I have a second?
Second.
Good job.
Meekum. Board Member Adcock,
Aye.
Board Member Hathaway,
Aye.
Board Member Meekum,
Aye.
Board Member Montoya,
Aye.
Board Member Sidaway.
Aye.
That was good. That was 1 minute.
You're getting better.
I can read.
Yeah.
Okay,
Practice.
we have a need to convene a meeting of the Santaquin Special Service District. I can't believe I did this last week without reading this.
Well,
Thank
that's
you,
up to-
Emily. No,
that could
it
be
was
a
okay.
matter of opinion.
I wanted to learn.
But we got through it.
Yeah. Okay, I'd entertain a motion to convene that meeting.
So moved.
Made by Counselor Montoya. A second?
I'll second.
Counselor Hathaway, roll call. Counselor Adcock,
Aye.
Counselor Hathaway,
Aye.
Counselor Meekum, Counselor Montoya,
Aye.
Counselor Sidaway.
Aye.
7:50.
You were quick on the
Five.
draw there, Lynn.
5.
Better be 50.
Oh, sheesh, yes. What can I say? We have a need to hold a public hearing for the budget of the Santaquin Special Service District.
So
So,
moved.
entertain a motion to move to the public hearing by Board Member Meekum, second by
I'll second.
That was really.
Board Member Sidaway. Roll call. Board Member Adcock.
Aye.
Board Member Hathaway.
Aye.
Board Member Meekum.
Aye.
Board Member Montoya.
Aye.
Board Member Sidaway.
Aye.
56? 57. Comments? Or do you want to go over that, Norm?
So this is the public hearing. This is just opening it up for the public to comment, and then we'll go to the budget next, right?
Yeah. That's the second to last thing, or third?
Yep.
Any comment? Or you're all bored? Okay. Entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Board Member Montoya, second by?
Second.
You know, somebody could vote no just to throw this off a little bit.
I'm this close to voting absent.
Okay, roll call. Board Member Adcock.
Aye.
Board Member Hathaway.
Aye.
Board Member Meekum.
Aye.
Board Member Montoya.
Aye.
Board Member Sidaway.
Aye.
Could you sound more bold?
Trying to stay awake.
Really? We have a need to approve the budget for the Santaquin Special Service District. Would you just explain that real quick and what this has to do with
Yeah,
Public
so,
Works and what we have to do in that?
yep, the Special Service District, also known as the Santaquin Water District, is where we hold about half of our Summit Creek Irrigation Company shares. That gives us the ability, and we hold other water rights as well in there, gives us a little bit more flexibility to divest ourselves or, swap out water rights or whatever like that with other agencies and that kind of thing. It just gives us a little bit more freedom. The budget amount here is for mostly the payment of the dues for that portion of the irrigation shares that we have for the annual dues to the irrigation company.
These are generally called assessments.
They are assessments. I apologize. Thank you.
So I would, are there any questions for this budget? I'd entertain a motion to approve that budget.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Jeff. Board Member Jeff? Roll call. Board Member Adcock.
Aye, here.
Board Member Hathaway.
Aye.
Board Member Adcock. I think it's got to be yes or no.
Aye, yes.
Okay. Board Member Meekum.
Aye.
Board Member Montoya.
Aye.
Board Member Sidaway.
Aye.
Motion made by Board Member who to adjourn to
So moved.
for the Santaquin Special Service District, second by
Second.
Board Member Sidaway. Roll call. Board Member Adcock.
Aye.
Board Member Hathaway.
Aye.
Board Member Meekum.
Aye.
Board Member Montoya.
I have 2 ayes.
Eyes above the nose, right? Board Member Sidaway.
Aye.
7:59. Well, I think I did it faster last time. Now we're gonna resume to the regular council meeting.
Wow.
We don't need to go into that meeting, we're already there. So, sheesh.
Hallelujah.
That takes us down to, item number 14. Ordinance to adopt a general plan. Now, we've gone over the Imagine Santaquin. We've got John with us tonight. Things have been put back together. I read back through it. Have you guys all had a chance to review? So Jason, would you like to kind of head that and
Yeah.
invite John?
Yep, and recognize John Jansen here, who is with People in Place, the consultant that was selected to help us with updating and really pretty much revamping our general plan. This has been a 1.5-year process that we've gone through. We appreciate People in Place and their extensive ability to really reach out to the public and get their input. We held a number of public meetings. We created an Imagine Santaquin committee consisting of several stakeholders to get their input and their guidance and direction through this whole general plan update process. I should also mention Christy Ostema Brown, who's not with us tonight. She's on a trip, and we very much appreciate her involvement as well as the rest of their team. There's been a number of people behind the scenes that have really helped put this plan together. So we thank them. We thank all the residents of Santaquin who were involved in the committee, involved in the public meetings, surveys, input, and we've put that all together into this document that is here before you today. Now, because Christy is out of town and she really has the program that has kind of helped make this document look professional and look really polished and clean, there's obviously a number of things that we will take care of. We would suggest as a condition of approval. Probably would be covered under Scrivener's errors. Obviously, we have a big draft across the front of it that we'll want removed. We probably want to put more of a specific date rather than just spring of 2022. But the last thing I'll say in terms of this document that's before you today is there is what's called a future land use map that is down in the land use chapter of this general plan. And really that is a map that portrays some of the anticipated land uses that we see for the future of the city. It obviously conveys some of the existing land uses that are there. But we wanted to make sure that we updated a few things there to be completely accurate and a little bit more representative of some of the plans and some of the things that we see for in the city. I was able to send that to the council early, the council members early today via email. A lot of them are not very substantive. They're more just some cleanup items, some labeling things, and so that would be something that a staff recommendation would be that future land use map be updated in accordance with the staff suggestions that are there. Other than that, we appreciate again all the hard work that's been done on this to the Planning Commission and City Council members who have spent countless hours reviewing this and giving their input and meetings and everything that's gone into this.
Imagine Santaquin committee members.
The Imagine Santaquin City committee members as well. There's just so many people that have really had a part of this, and that's really what the goal of this whole effort was really to have a broad, unified voice to create a vision for Santaquin City, so with that. It's here for your consideration to be adopted by ordinance. Unless you have any other questions for myself or John Jansen, who's made the trip down here to see this to the end.
So it's been just a couple of weeks since we went through that. Spent a bunch of time. Most of those things that I could find have been incorporated into this. So we're looking at pretty much what we had talked about. I can't verify every little piece, but.
And sorry, one more thing. The Planning Commission did review this at their last meeting. They did hold a public hearing, and their recommendation was to adopt the general plan. They did suggest a change, which has already been reflected on the future land use map, to make sure that the northern boundary line was consistent with an interlocal agreement that was approved with Payson City, which basically draws kind of the line for what the annexation boundary will look like. That an update to our annexation policy plan is pending, and something that we're coordinating with Payson so it can happen at the same time. But other than that, that was the Planning Commission's recommendation after their review of this document.
Do we need a motion that would include that recommendation, or just move forward?
Yeah, I would recommend that some of those things probably could be counted as Scrivener's errors. And just touch up, but a specific condition to update the future land use map in accordance with staff suggestions would be my recommendation.
Okay. Are there any questions or any comments? Or John, would you like to make any statement? Or we're glad you're here. We appreciate you coming.
Just thought I might say something since I was here. Yeah, John Jansen, one of the consultants, and. I know we've focused on the future land use map a bit, but I'd like you to think back for a minute, and the real focus of this is that vision statement and the principles that come along with it. We have worked those over quite a bit since the first draft. Your Imagine Committee and all of your comments have gotten in there, and they may not be verbatim, but they're in there. And so
you probably didn't want them verbatim when they first came out.
Yeah, you said something about that gall darn general plan, didn't you? Anyway, no. We've tried really hard to get all of that in there, and really appreciate the help that everybody's given us to get through that. It was interesting to me that you talk about budget tonight. I'm just going to pontificate for 1 second, but the general plan can be part of that budgeting process too, to think about where we're headed, what pieces of this plan can we pick up this year. I noticed you're doing CRDAs. Did I get that right?
CDRA.
Yeah,
I'll
it was close.
Help you there.
And downtown we talked about having one of those to work on the gathering place idea. Things like that you could take pieces of this plan and start pushing them into your budgeting process. Commonly done in many communities across the state. So I'll leave it at that, but it's got all your stuff in it, other than we're going to fix up that flu map, I call that. Okay? All right.
Okay. Thank you, John. Appreciate all the work you put into it, and thank Christy for us as well.
When she gets back.
Okay. Any comments or any questions that you want to have or
The
bring
only
up?
thing I wanted to bring up was the future land use map, and that's been taken care of, so I'm good.
Okay. Then I would entertain a motion to adopt the ordinance for the general plan.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance number 0603, 2022, an ordinance adopting the general plan of Santaquin City, providing for codification, correction of Scrivener's errors, severability, and an effective date for the ordinance, and an update on the future land use map, and any other typographical errors or anything else missed in there.
Okay. Had a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Hathaway. Since the state passed that we have to do roll call, Councilmember Montoya,
Aye.
Councilman Adcock,
Aye.
Councilman Sitaway,
Aye.
Councilman Meekum,
Aye.
Councilman Hathaway.
Aye.
Adoption of the general plan passes. We're good to go. Let's move on. So thank you, John. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
John.
Thanks, thank you all.
Have a safe drive back.
See ya.
Thank you.
We'll get the cleaned up version next week.
Discussion on possible actions for item number 15. It's preliminary design and agreement for this fire station property. And I'll just say this again, we talked about it in our work session, so it's already on video, but it's property that we felt like we could save a lot of money by utilizing property that we already had. And money for the preliminary design is actually money that is sitting there that has been set aside through impact. Is it impact fees that comes from?
Correct.
And if we don't use that, we're going to lose that.
We have the potential to, yes, to lose it, so we
We need to jump on this and move forward so that we can do these studies, verify, make sure that we're looking at a safe and a smart place in order to save the citizens money, especially through ISO type changes, which would come through your insurance. So, any questions that you have on that?
I'm just in a quandary as far as the locations are concerned. It seems like there's a lot of hesitancy about using the property down by the railroad tracks. If we can eliminate that preliminarily, then we don't need to do some of the studying and we've decided on the other property. Are we to that point that we've eliminated either one of them?
So this will actually help us, sorry, Dominic, this will actually help us to get to that point, to look at different feasibilities of both this property and the other property that we talked about up here just at the end of Sageberry. This really is just very high level to say which is the one that we really want to pursue from here to be able to move down and move that forward. Again, the only real drawback to the property north of the soccer fields is that we would have to have a road out back behind it, which can certainly be incorporated into the design of future property there that we have, the 35 acres.
There's absolutely no question or concern about the fact that we need the station.
Absolutely not.
We just make sure it's in the right location.
That is correct. And this has been, again, we've looked at both of these locations, again, very preliminarily with Chief Lind, and either one of them will work as far as the radius is concerned and serviceability, even including future growth to the west. And we talked about the Sitla property tonight. That's to the south and west of both of these properties. That will again help us to be able to have room to have that coverage ratio that we need for the ISO rating. And so these are the two properties, again, that we own and that we would look at, again, very preliminarily, and just from there, we can drill down and figure out which one's going to be the best and which option on that site is going to be best.
As they review the location of those two properties, make sure that they look really hard at the issue should that bridge that goes over the railroad track be disabled.
Right. That's part of it, right? You're exactly right.
I had the same thought.
Mhm.
And I also question how thrilled the existing residents in Summit Ridge would be to have lights and sirens go right through the neighborhood.
If their house is on fire, they'll be thrilled to see that coming.
Well, I think,
Oh,
but I
that's a
think if,
concern.
but I think
much
if
rather have it
if it's by the soccer fields, that's still a lot closer than the building we are currently in.
Correct.
And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Again, we've even looked at property up closer to the freeway. That kind of gets us outside of that we don't own, that could potentially be purchased. But these two, again, because we already own the property, or we will own the property, I just ought to clarify, this piece over here we don't own yet, but it will be dedicated as part of a future subdivision plat that will be coming to us in the near future. Again, the station is, I have to make sure and set clear expectations. The station is a ways out. We're just barely starting the very preliminary. We're still several years away from even having the full-on site design, the building design, the layout, all of that kind of stuff. This is, again, just the very infancy of the start of the process.
First steps.
Yep. And so, yeah, please understand, we're not going to be constructing next year. That's going to be something that's down the road, but this helps us to start narrowing in on the property and the site and the layout of the building and the design and the parking and having circulation and all of that kind of stuff.
It's just working with Chris Lindquist and emergency preparedness in the city. I'm really concerned about that bridge failing and the fire department being on the wrong side of the street.
Sure, absolutely. That's a real concern. Yep.
We do have access from the north now, which comes down from the other station. So we do have options, even if it failed. We have Lark Lane that brings us around at this point too.
Yeah,
so I think
not from the soccer fields.
Right.
I mean, yeah, eventually, but
Yeah, I mean, it.
we're looking at proximity.
If it fails, there are consequences on either side, because the equipment in that station would also be a closer response time to Foothill Village.
Sure.
And so if it fails, there are consequences for residents either in Summit Ridge, if the station is on the east side of the bridge, and if it's on the west side of the bridge and the bridge fails, there are consequences for those living in the Summit Ridge townhomes and Foothill.
Right. I would indicate also that we have, I believe we have an interlocal with Rocky Ridge that also has a fire station on that side that could come down on a dirt road that was improved years ago before the north road was put in. That was something that we needed to do, and we entered into an agreement with them as well.
Yeah, I don't know how recently it's been improved, but there is an unpaved
It is an unpaved road. You're right.
That is, if you had a 4-wheel drive and a big enough vehicle, but yeah, there is an access road there.
All very good consideration and points, and again, very preliminarily, this is just the start of it, so we can start citing things and figuring out where we're going.
Which I think is a good reason to have the study and have those recommendations made.
Yep.
I think the possibility of losing funds that we could use to do that design and selection of the area would even haunt me more.
Yeah.
So maybe now is a good time to jump on this. And given that, do you have any other questions? Then I would ask for a motion to approve this preliminary design agreement so that we could move forward with fire station property.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve a contract with WPA Architecture for concept and preliminary design serviced for a new fire station in a not to exceed amount of $40,000.
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Adcock. So with roll call vote, Councilman Hathaway.
Aye.
Councilman Meekum.
Aye.
Councilman Sidaway. Aye. Councilman Adcock.
Aye.
Councilmember Montoya.
Aye.
We also need to review the approval of funding in regards to our MAG support contract that we have in place at this time. And basically, we work with the Mountain Land Association of Government for many things, including funding of different things. We've had a lot of successes, been able to meet a lot of people, and it is moving, I believe, in the right direction. This particular approval has to do with the ability to move forward with some funding or finding some funding to do an environmental impact statement, an EIS, that has to do a lot with some of the corridor preservation, with future planning, and the alleviation of the major traffic congestion that we have. And this is something that we have been putting a lot of time into, We've made a lot of efforts and a lot of progress, and this is key to the next step. And this is something that our people at MAG, our people at the state that we're working with, everybody that's involved with just about everything with transportation related and with any of the funding that's going on has encouraged us to move forward with. So we've discussed it to some end. Norm, did I miss anything? Do you want to go over?
No, just this is, the EIS would be in support of the full reconstruction of the interchange, which is the traffic issue that we have there now and the bottleneck that we have for both safety and just, circulation. So that's what I would put in there, and also that we have opportunity to make use of our interlocal agreement that we have with MAG to have them provide additional services that will help us to, we anticipate, get funds to fund that EIS. And that EIS could be to the tune of several $1 million that could help, again, with our corridor preservation projects that we've been doing, the negotiation that we had with Flagship Homes on getting that 900 East and the frontage road rerouted, the purchase that we're looking at just south of Big O right now, and just kind of that holistic view of trying to figure out how we can help UDOT to be able to reconstruct that interchange and kind of grease the skids and get things moving faster than what the current time frame is.
I'd just like to throw in, either Norm or you, Mayor, could you let the people know that the purpose for this is to try to bring us from let's say a 30-year plan to maybe something a little closer, just so the people know.
Yeah, we're currently on a 20 to 30-year plan for UDOT as far as their timing is concerned to have that interchange even looked at or rebuilt, and so we're trying to move that up. We believe that this is our best bet to move this up and move that forward to more within a 5 to 10 year period rather than a 20 to plus year period.
I think Mayor Hathaway or Mayor Hunsaker and the past council made some really good movement, and that was to open up a big part of Santaquin Main Street to those CDBG funds, the Community Development Block Grants, which allows some changes on Main Street to help that traffic flow through faster. When this was brought up in MAG meetings while I was there, Goshen and Genola stood right behind me. And when we were looking at funding for corridor preservation, all of the cities down here especially just stepped right in, but everybody supported this change. We don't want to become Lehigh Main Street. And the thing that I have seen personally, but that worries me and it worries us as a council, is to do all of this work and end at 3rd East and still have the bottleneck out to the freeway. And especially with meeting with the school district, which we have done recently, they have bought big pieces of land for a high school and a junior high down 4th East. So without finding funds, which we have done, to enter into engineering work that is already underway, that we have done since February, and addressing the corridor preservation and now finding a way to do this environmental impact, all of a sudden we have taken a project which was at the bottom of the curve with the state and the way in which they looked at it. Now we're starting to elevate it up with reasonable, exceptional engineering, forethought, and planning. And all of these things are coming together with the layout of the city, some of the changes that we have to maintain, and we're trying to do it without costs out of every one of our pockets. And we've been able to find great funds and ways to do this. And this, working with our MAG counterparts, is going to open those doors. And I see this as a real opportunity. We need to grasp this. And if we don't, what was told to me was well, just go back and wait for the 30-year plan to kick in. And so we're trying to be proactive. And that's what I feel we were elected to do, or at least I had promised I'm going to see what I can do. And I know you have all looked at this in every direction. So do you have any questions with it?
Mayor, I would add that two options are there is $100,000 for 1 year and potentially some maintenance costs after that, or $75,000 spread over 2 years that will help us to not only get through the EIS and moving forward that way, but getting us closer to potential construction and help with those funds as well at some point in the future.
Yeah, and we have met face-to-face in meetings with the key people and key individuals, and we have been told this is the direction. We want to be successful. This is it. So I would entertain a motion to approve the funding for the MAG support.
Do we need to identify the two options that
You do, in your
city
motion, just
manager mentioned?
which one you prefer, which one you would recommend.
Yeah. Any-
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion then that we approve funding to MAG in support of the regional transportation planning efforts, specifically to support MAG's efforts to help obtain funding for an environmental impact statement, EIS, and related work in preparation for the possible reconstruction of the UDOT I-15 Santaquin Main Street interchange. And part of my motion would be that we do the 2-year, $75,000 each year. I think that'll get us through and not have any surprises at the second year. So that would be my motion.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Councilman Hathaway,
Aye.
Councilman Meekum,
Aye.
Councilman Sitaway,
Aye.
Councilman Adcock,
Aye.
Councilmember Montoya.
I
This is a way to go forward. I think it's going to take us a couple of weeks to get the contract put together. That means, Brett, you're going to be busy.
So again, no contract, just a letter to
Oh,
them that
yeah.
will prepare and make sure that the council sees a copy of that when we send it.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
right. But that letter, I still want Brett
Yeah,
to
we'll have
review.
that, make sure that we have his input on that as well, absolutely.
And then, would you also review the existing contract that we have so that you're comfortable with all of those, and especially the way that meshes? Okay? Meshes. Okay. I would really like to move into our staff and get some reports. So, who wants to go first? Norm, do you want to go first?
I'd be happy to, Mayor. Mayor and council, we did receive bids on the Center Street storm drain project. You may recall that 2 years ago, we received funds from MAG through the CDBG to help us with some storm drain efforts along Center Street from just at the north end of the post office to the 100 North. We received less than favorable bids for that small amount of work. We had, I think, $315,000 budgeted. The engineer's estimate ended up being about $450,000. The only bid that we received came in just shy of $900,000. So the many things having to do with that, concrete shortages, probably won't be able to get concrete pipe even until next year. Manholes, inlet boxes the same way. Small quantities, small amount of work with all of the other stuff that's going on out there with all of the federal funding. And so at this point in time, what we're recommending is that we turn those funds back to we had about $235,000 from MAG on the CDBG. We turn those funds back since we're not going to be able to use them this year, and reapply for that with these new numbers that we have, and maybe even look at other options. We've talked about options of whether, so this design, and that didn't even include sidewalk, that was just curb and gutter, storm drain. It was shocking. But what we would do is maybe even look at what's in our master plan for our storm drain, which is swales versus curb and gutter. Again, we've talked about kind of the whole aspect of that, of maintenance, long-term maintenance, and having to put culverts over everyone's driveways on that block, that kind of thing. But anyway, it's just not feasible for us to do that project. We'll regroup and send that, just indicate we're not going to draw on those funds from CDBG at this point in time, and then likely reapply for those next year to try and figure out how we can make that work.
You're gonna have to let them know, and then
Oh,
we have only got until the end of the fall before we can get the paperwork in, because they award those in the spring.
Right. And we have that number now so that we could at least put in for that at this point in time and see what happens. I don't know how much funding they have available, but
We'd have to see too, if they're gonna make us resurvey, because we would have to survey to even see if we still meet the qualifications of below the
Yeah.
moderate income with the households that are there, because we had to survey
House
individual
to
houses.
house.
Yeah.
That was very time
And we may not
intensive.
even qualify,
yeah.
so.
Again, it just is where we're at. It's the crazy market that we find ourselves in with inflation, and again, all the federal funds that are out there. This is such a small project that I believe it's just taken a sideshow to everything else that's going on, and the costs are just horrendous. And so we'll regroup, and we've had some discussion with JUB to help us look at potentially if we look at swales or something like that and do a little bit of a redesign. We're going to look at all those options, but I just wanted to bring that. There is no action tonight. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of it and kind of the crazy nature and of the bidding environment that we find ourselves in right now. Also, I wanted to report on the Furniture Road property acquisition. We've talked about that. If you have any questions, please let me know. We are under contract, and we will bring that back to you at a meeting, probably on July 5th, for a final ratification to move forward with that property purchase, contingent upon getting the corridor preservation funds from MAG through MAG from the county. I wanted to report also, and Dave, I hope I don't steal your thunder here. There's some needs at the rodeo to try and accommodate some additional storage for cattle during the rodeo. We're looking at some of those things, and we'll let you know where that plays out. I don't have any numbers or anything other than we met with the Steels and the Mascaros and the Public Works and Community Services, and we're just trying to bring a plan together. But I wanted to let you know that there's some of that out there, and we might need to expend, I don't know, $10,000 to $15,000 this year to try and accommodate, and then maybe look at budgeting for future years for some upgrades to the rodeo grounds. That would need to come as part of our budgeting process next year, but we might be able to find some operational funds that could help us this year with just some temporary measures, as I would put it. I did also want to bring you up to speed on we have another set of CDBG funds that are going to help us to buy the commercial grade kitchen equipment for the new city hall and the seniors in the kitchen on the south end that the seniors will use for their lunches. Our bids came in at about $138,000, and the MAG funding, I think, is a little more or a little less than about $50,000 of that. We will be looking to extend that and go ahead and bring that purchase back to you at a future date, utilizing some of those MAG funds and other funds that we have set aside for those kitchen improvements. Everything from a larger stove to a dishwasher to a commercial grade fridges and built-in walk-in freezer and fridge. Just it'll be really set up nice, and we'll bring you back some more of that information as we look to award a contract. Again, I believe you'll see that potential award on the 5th of July.
Can I just add to that too, the contract for CDBG actually ends June 30th. We've requested an extension. So it's at the county level right now for an extension to that contract. So you'll see that extension come too. So we can extend that contract to make sure that we expend the funds.
Okay. That's all I have, Mayor, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have on other items from council members.
Yeah, Norm, I got a question for you. Take you back a little bit. You remember when we voted on making 3rd West a one-way road?
Yep.
If maybe you can remind me, but it seems like that there was some signage that we were going to put up.
Signage and striping, and we're working on finalizing that plan now and should have it implemented here in the next couple weeks.
Okay, thank you.
We are working on it. We're a little bit behind because of the changes and all the staff changes that we've had, but I think we can get that taken care of in the next probably 2 to 4 weeks. We can get that all done and taken care of signage wise and striping and getting it where we talked about and that kind of thing.
Okay, perfect.
Any other question? Okay, Jason?
Yeah, I just want to update you on, we were able to conduct interviews for an administrative assistant in the community development department. We're still looking to finalize that and make that selection, so that's something that's pending. We did also get the advertisement, the job posting for a planner 2 or planner 3 senior planner out there. That was done just last week and it won't close until July 1st. So we're anxious to get some great candidates to interview and have someone fill that position. So still working on some backfilling in the community development department. For upcoming meetings, we're planning to hold a architectural review committee meeting this Thursday evening, in which we will review the renderings for the McDonald's restaurant, drive-in restaurant, drive-through restaurant. So we'll be doing that Thursday evening. Next Tuesday for DRC, we have a proposed site plan for what's called a tag and go. It's a car wash. This would be just north of McDonald's. I've got a lot of questions about, there was a car wash that was approved just north of the plaza, a couple commercial lots north of the plaza. I'm not quite sure where that's at or if that's going to be moving forward. I'm pretty sure that the property owner, Mark Ridley, would not have 2 tunnel car washes on his site. So having this one move forward is maybe an indication that that one won't be moving forward, but nothing's official. But anyways, I say that because I get questions about another tunnel car wash that's just right there in that vicinity, and so that's maybe an explanation there. That would be DRC Planning Commission. Is gearing up to be a little larger meeting. We've got we're going to continue discussions and have a public hearing regarding agritourism and agriculture and code amendment that would really impact a lot of zones in relation to allowing certain activities of an agricultural nature on farms and in those different zones. We'll continue the conversation, and I've been working with legal counsel on the land use table and definitions related to the Main Street Business District Zone. That's the MSC, MSR, and CBD areas or districts of that particular zone. That's one of the things that's going to be cleaned up is the making sure that we're consistent with are they areas or districts. So lots of things to just address there. We're also going to be having an agenda item to discuss, per the council's direction, detached accessory dwelling units. I'll give a presentation to the Planning Commission to really help them understand the different potential options and really all the information to explore that idea further. We also have Scenic Ridge Estates preliminary plan. This is a subdivision that's really high up on the East Bench, up just south of Peter Rabbit Springs, the city-owned property up there by that water tank. We have no surprise with them being in the ARC. McDonald's is looking to get some signage on the building. Per our code, if they have signage on their rear elevation, they need to get approval from the Planning Commission. So that'll be moving forward to the Planning Commission. That might be something that maybe we can explore if that's necessary or not moving forward with, because we did this for Little Caesars, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of businesses that want to have a sign on the rear of their building, and having them go through the Planning Commission maybe feels a little bit onerous, but that's my opinion. Something maybe to consider. And then potentially we could have another preliminary plan for a development on the north side of town called Stratton Acres. It's a standard subdivision, but we just got plans from them. Obviously, with some of the holes we have in our staffing, I'll coordinate with John Lundell, a city engineer, to decide if that's ready to move forward. Some of the things are probably more engineering related. So, yeah. It's a stacked Planning Commission meeting, and those are some of the things that are ahead of us. Obviously, there's other things, annexation policy plan update I mentioned before, moderate income housing plan update. Yeah, we got a lot on our plate. So appreciate the council and the mayor's support, and yeah, that's all I have, unless you have any questions for me.
Stratton Acres, that's between 2nd and 4th East, about 6 North or something?
Yep.
It's between 2nd and the existing homes. It's on the west side of 2nd East, so it doesn't go all the way to 4th.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a long sliver where that old orchard is next to the homes that are there.
Yeah, just southeast of the Orchards development, existing Apple Valley Elementary School is maybe the best way to describe it.
North of the school, yeah.
But you said it's a standard development, so they're
Uh-huh.
not requesting a zone change?
No, no PUD. This is they're R10, and so they would have 10,000 square foot lot minimum.
Anything else? Okay, Shannon, do you have anything you want to report financially?
Not tonight. We've done a whole lot of budget stuff tonight, so.
Yeah, no kidding. Emily, do you have anything? Good. Councilman Hathaway.
Yeah, a couple things. Norm and I went to the Mount Nebo water. It was June 13th. Chris Hansen reported on the I guess the update that they're waiting for. We're waiting for the plan for the groundwater management plan. The group decided to let, is it Hansen and Luce?
Hansen and Luce.
To finish out the amount of money on the contract, and then they'll be submitting that report, which I think will be a really good report. Part two of that is the committee also is going into I guess another project, right, Norm, that will be coming back to the council, and Santaquin's portion of that will be, was it $1,675?
Which is already budgeted right now.
Which is already budgeted anyway, but we'll have to bring it to you guys anyway. But other than that, is there anything, Norm, that?
No, there's a lot of good stuff going on with water planning from both us and CUP and Mount Nebo and Submal. A lot of things go on behind the scenes, and just as we need to bring stuff to you for approval, et cetera, we will do that. But a lot of water planning going on just to make sure that, again, we're just trying to stay ahead of the curve on water, both as a group and as a city.
Yeah, it's a good group, by the way, I think. Last Wednesday, I went up and was part of the banquet they had for the awards for the rodeo of the year. Paige and Jared picked that award up, and I just want to say, kudos to the rec staff and to Paige and the Roping Club for a job well done. Kind of Norm already touched bases with it, but we did have that meeting with the Mascaros. There was two parts to that. One was they're talking to us about they're looking at it from a point of view of some safety issues that are back there for those guys that are back there when the bulls and horses are back there. And Norm kind of got a good grasp of that. But the other part of that meeting was with them is they're going to put together a price for doing it's called a Bronx and Bulls event right after Labor Day. That when we get the pricing back from them, we'll come back and see if the council maybe want to look at something like that. But that's just kind of in the preliminaries of seeing if we want to do something like that. So you already told me about the signs. So other than that, that's it.
Okay. Councilman Meekum?
Yeah, I just had some good feedback on I don't think we're calling it a farmer's market, but the thing we've been doing on the hometown market. That's right. I couldn't think of the name. I've been racking my brain while he was talking. Anyway, really good feedback on that from those that have attended. I didn't get a chance to go Monday, but really good feedback I'm getting, even from people out of town that are coming and having a booth there. Just great. I think we need to encourage that and participate in that when we can and support it. It's been a good thing. So I might have stole somebody's thunder on that, but I just had feedback coming from people in Spanish Fork on that, so I thought that's good news.
You're forgiven.
It's all right. I don't have anything else.
And if I may, Councilman Regan, we appreciate the support, vendors and from the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
We have our president of the chamber who that's one of the things that
thank
they
you. Good thing.
contractually help us to do, but they are very willing. And I know Stephanie personally is very much a big part of the hometown market, and obviously in conjunction with that, the Sounds of Santaquin that happens as well. So
Yeah.
it's a growing event, and we appreciate everybody's involvement with it.
Anyway, I don't have anything else.
Councilman Sitaway?
Well, I was going to ask about 300 West, and Dave
No.
stole my thunder there. And then talked about hometown market, and so
We're all on the same page.
yeah,
This is
I'm.
great.
I got nothing.
Councilman Adcock?
I just recently, today, became aware of there's a lot of illegal activity going on in Santaquin as far as knocking on doors, checking door handles on cars late at night. I would just encourage all of us and those that hopefully are listening now or will watch later to be the old-fashioned neighborhood watch. Keep an eye on your neighbors. Watch out for your areas. There are ill-gotten people afoot, and do everything you can to lessen your vulnerability. One of my neighbors was gone on vacation and asked for an extra watch by the police department, and kudos to the police department. They went by every night and checked the doors at the house and make sure they're all locked. So good extra patrol.
Yeah, that's good. Councilmember Montoya?
The team hike that the YCC had planned was was planned for a week ago Monday, which was a total washout. So I decided that we would be safe and not go up a canyon to try to take a hike that day. But we ended up meeting at the rec building and playing board games for a few hours instead, and had an absolute blast. And the kids were glad for something to do to get out of the house for a little while, and maybe their parents were glad too. And we had a fantastic time. And I wasn't able to go to the hometown market last night, and I'm super sad about that because one of my YCC members was performing. But I did get to go a week ago, and the 23rd Army Band was just spectacular, and the vendors were fantastic, and I got my persimmon tomato plant from Stephanie and got it planted in my pot. So it's looking great, and baked goods, and something that is supposed to be considered healthy chocolate, which it tasted fantastic, but I don't know that I'm a fan of calling it healthy chocolate, even though it probably technically is, but chocolate's more for my mental health. And it was just a fun time all around. And even with a rainy day, I think it was still a really good turnout that night. I will be attending a planning and housing conference this Thursday in Lehigh. And several weeks ago, I attended a sustainability summit conference at UVU, and there were not very many representatives from cities there, but there were a lot of UVU professors and professionals in the field of sustainability, and it was really interesting, very fascinating to learn some of the programs that are available and what some of the other cities are doing from the few representatives that were there as far as water conservation and education efforts. And it was a day well spent up at UVU. And they're supposed to have that every year, and it was free. So if anybody gets the email about it next year, or you want me to let you know when I get the email, then I'd be happy to do that. And that's all I have.
Okay. Just a couple of things. We met with CUP last week, went over some of the plans that they've got and then checking they're doing. We're trying to get them to move our outputs on the west side of the tracks so that we don't have to go through all the railroad stuff, but it puts it so it's a little easier for us to get access for the hooking in, especially for moving the water up onto the tank in Summit Ridge. And they've got a lot of things they're moving in. They're still, I don't know the percentage. They didn't say. They're really close to the 35% for everything, which really is just a step away from the 60%, which will be where they'll pretty much be ready to start looking seriously at putting it out to bid. I think they're wanting to get that out to bid soon. They are doing all of the easements through the properties right now and making very good headway. And report still they haven't had to, on any of the projects anywhere, go into any kind of legal taking of the property anywhere. So that's been a real positive note. So CUP, we're putting a lot of time with our engineering into it too, so that we've got things ready to go, not only with our streets, but our plans for hooking it in to the system. We're working actively on the transportation, and that was evident with a couple of the discussions that we've had tonight, but we've done very well with awards from MAG, and being able to purchase that property with funds through the government has been really, really good. We did not have to spend our money to get there, but we've put a lot of time into it, and that's moving along great. The bike park up the canyon is surveyed in for the parking lot. We did a review the other day and walked through it. I'm trying to make arrangements for the equipment so that we can make the cuts and fills, and hopefully we'll see more soon. You can go up and see red and orange pegs if you want at this point. So that's moving along. We did meet with the trails specialists from the Forest Service, and we're working on tying the properties together. And we met with the state. The state has given us preliminary approval to tie it all the way back down to Ted Allen's. So I think those were very positive things. We can make some loops out of our trail system that will be impressive. They also talked about the trails that are up on the bench, and we're going to map those in and just change any little things that we can. So they're working with us. They're still the Forest Service, so we'll see how it goes. We also went to the meeting on the canyon. I've been talking to the superintendent on opening the canyon up. They are shortly, within days, away from getting their equipment up, getting ready to get underway with the contract. And there's already blocks that have been hauled up the canyon. I think they're the 2x2x6. They may be 2x2x4. The big concrete blocks that will act as the abutment to the creek and up to the roadway. So that they've got most of that ready to go, and their crews are just closing up down in Moab, and they're soon to be up here. So I think we're seeing a lot of things come to pass. It's good to work with about everybody that comes in. We have incredible businesses, and to some people, when you get a McDonald's, you've made it. And so I guess we're gonna get a McDonald's. So in somebody's book, we made it, but I don't know what that means. I appreciate the businesses. I appreciate you guys for everything that you do. And it's been a pleasure to work with the staff. We've gone through a couple of rough months getting everything put together, but I think we're making really good headway. And thank you all for everything that you do. This is a lot of work. So with that, I entertain a motion, except for one thing.
Just a quick reminder, you may have seen an email or two from Emily on ULCT in the fall. If you plan on needing a hotel room, now's the time to get them, or you're going to be too far away. You'll end up walking more. But please just get back with Emily on those. We'll register for you for the conferences in a few weeks, but we do need to plan on hotels now if you're planning on being up there.
One other thing too, you should have had an email from UDOT on a survey to take. Did you guys see that? Did they not send that to everybody? Didn't
No,
they
I
want to
think it
hear
was just-
from the council too?
It was just coming from you, and then some encouragement on how, and I've asked Jason to follow up on that to get it out, get the word out. Essentially, it's just a survey for transportation needs and planning in the future through UDOT. So you'll see that, and
Would- Since I don't want to do one blast, can you do one blast to all of the council? and
sure,
just
I'll send that out.
link?
Yeah. Yep, I
And
will.
then you guys can take a look at it, because those will be things that are tied to funding or favors or anything else that we do. What?
Can I make a comment?
Okay.
In you and Norm's discussions with the Forest Service, I'm not gonna throw anybody under a bus, but I understand the Forest Service is looking at putting pay stations on the Nebo Loop. I was wondering if you guys have heard any of that, or,
That's-
Not part of any discussion.
That
of
is the first I've heard anything.
well, if you can, if you can kind of slip it in, could you ask him?
I will talk to Luke,
Okay.
Just to
see
drive
what
it?
he's got.
Yeah, the rumor is that they want to put, kind of be basically like
It's already American Fork.
American Fort Canyon.
I haven't heard a thing. Nobody has said
Okay.
anything like that. I have heard them say that, there's some roads that they would like to shut down, but not necessarily our canyon, not necessarily anything that I've heard of, really close. So I'll ask Luke.
Okay.
Okay? So, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Boy, moved by, motion by Jeff, and Betsy made the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.